Welcome everyone to the top 10 sticky jump world records of 2023. We're here to take a look at the fastest and most impressive runs achieved in this past year. There's been tons of crazy runs this year, so I've tried to select the 10 most impressive ones for your viewing pleasure. And just for the record, this list is entirely my own opinion and isn't based on anything objective whatsoever. You know, it's just for fun. Coming in at number 10, we have Matty on jump ring. Matty's jump ring record only beats the second place time by a small amount, just 0.04 of a second. But that previous world record was ran by a demo player named Scoob, a player who is infamous for having dozens of near perfect world records that are almost impossible to beat. So despite the time being small, beating out a Scoob record, even one from 2019, is incredibly impressive and requires a ton of optimization on your route. The strats used are basically the same, but being cleaner and more consistent throughout the run allows Matty to just barely beat out Scoob's record on the map. And with further optimization, there's no doubt that Matty is going to push this time even further. Coming in at number 9, we have KJR on Jump Iblis. This is a relatively new map on the scene, only releasing in 2023. So to already have a no-fail run that's this fast is incredibly impressive. There's small optimizations to be had here and there, but this run is already approaching as fast as the map can realistically be beaten in, beating the second place time by 11 seconds. He doesn't take any of the jumps slow or use safe strats anywhere, he just uses super clean movement and fast strats through everything, even nailing the hardest jumps on the map with ease, like the 180 wall catch here. This is significantly more difficult than KJR is making it look. The main reason this isn't higher on the list is because of the connectors. These connectors are super weird and unique and unlike anything on most other maps, and they require precise movement to get through them as fast as possible. And there's definitely some optimization to be had on these connectors, as weird as they may be, and it unfortunately loses a decent amount of time over the course of the run. But on the jumps themselves, this run is practically flawless. Coming in at number 8, we have Reero on Jump Maya. Maya is a map known for its incredibly tight spacing and cramped corridors, and moving quickly through these jumps requires a ton of precision and a ton of tricky strats that are much harder than they look. This run hits every single strat, and it hits them very fast, blasting through this map to save 2.7 seconds on the second place time. 2.7 seconds might not seem like a lot, but on a map that's only 50 seconds long, 2 seconds is an enormous time save. The run saves small amounts of time here and there with optimized movement, but most of the strats stay the same. The starting strat is slightly different, starting with a double pre around this corner instead of a single pre that the old world record does. And there's a slightly different strat to beat the final jump too. But outside of those small differences, it's mostly the same strats. The same strats, but faster and more efficient to make up a run that would be insanely hard to beat. Coming in at number 7, we have Phancy on Jump Rewind. Rewind is a classic demo map that's over 7 years old by now, and Phancy's run pushes this map to almost its limits. This run is near flawless in its execution, with only a handful of tiny errors in certain connectors between jumps, which is how it manages to beat out the second place time on this ancient map by almost 3 seconds. This run is blisteringly fast, nailing almost every strat at the maximum possible speed. And the tiny fails in the connectors are honestly tragic for this run, because without them, this run would be completely flawless. There's a tiny mistake here, where Phancy misses an air sticky that would have sent him to the ground faster, and saved about a second of slowly walking to the start of the jump. And he lands slightly short of the corner in this connector, and has to spend about half a second walking to his stickies to det them. These two very minuscule mistakes are literally the only thing keeping this run from being completely flawless, which is a damn shame, really, because even with those little mistakes, this run is still crazy fast. In at number 6, we have Jaff on Jump Crypt. This run uses a brand new strat to achieve the first ever sub 1 minute time on the map. In the middle of the run, there's this jump here, where you have to traverse through these two holes in the ground and then sticky jump up to the end of the jump. But Jaff has a brand new strat that lets him beat this jump like this. A ceiling smash B-hop lets him absolutely fly through this jump without the need to slowly descend through the holes like the previous world record did. This trick might need a little bit of an explanation to some of you, so here it comes. Usually, whenever you touch the floor in the middle of a jump, you get teleported back to the start. But people figured out that if you fall from a certain height, you can actually jump on the exact frame you touched the ground, and this will let you jump off of the floor without teleporting. This is called a B-hop. Jaff figured out that bonking his head on this roof here set up the perfect fall height to allow him to do a B-hop and save an enormous amount of time from the previous world record. So an equally clean run as the former world record with this brand new strat allows him to smash the previous time by 3.5 seconds. Coming in at number 5, we have Newjuls on Jump Hydrogen. If you thought the B-hop in Jump Crypt was impressive, then Newjuls has got another crazy strat to show you. In the middle of the map, there's this jump here, and Newjuls hits a super clean B-hop strat to save a ton of time slowly pogoing down. But after that B-hop, he also hits a tick triple to fling himself up to the end of the jump incredibly quickly. I already explained what a B-hop was in the Jump Crypt run, so let me explain the tick triple. Usually, detonating 3 stickies on yourself would kill you. But if you place 2 stickies, then place a third one, and then time your detonation perfectly, you can set it up so that the first 2 stickies detonate, and then a frame later, the third one detonates. In that extra frame, your health gets regened back to full, and the third sticky hits you there instead, so you don't die. This is pretty precise to hit, and hitting one immediately after a cool B-hop strat is incredibly impressive. And this strat allows Newjuls to get the first ever sub 10 on the map. But even outside of this one strat, this run is incredibly clean and would likely still have beaten the previous world record even using old strats. Coming in at number 4, we have Vice on Jump Data. This run uses some super fast strats to create something that's pretty close to a flawless run. It saves tons of time in just the connectors alone, going significantly faster between the jumps to save around 2 seconds in the entire map run. But the strats in the jumps themselves are also executed much more quickly and cleanly than the previous world record, absolutely flying through the map without so much as a misplaced sticky. Outside of maybe getting slightly slow air stickies here and there, this run is completely flawless, and it absolutely slams every single jump in the entire map at maximum speed, going through the map so fast that he makes it look easy, to beat the former world record by 3.5 seconds. But now we've reached the top 3. In 3rd place, we have Jorge on Jump Lamia. This is an offline run, meaning that it was achieved on a private server instead of on the servers where the leaderboards are hosted. The run starts off strong, with a tick triple used on the 2nd level to fling himself super fast to the top of the jump. Then some super clean air pogo to pass the next few jumps. Then there's this huge vert level. This is an enormous room that expects you to vertically air pogo to the top of the jump, which is super slow to do the intended way. So Jorge uses what's called a pipe trick, timing a pipe bomb in the air to detonate with your stickies to propel yourself with the power of 2 stickies on the floor and a sticky and a pipe in the air. This flings him insanely fast to the top of this jump and saves a massive amount of time. Then even more clean air pogo until we get to the final jump. The intended strat for this jump is to slowly air pogo over to this hole, then slowly air pogo downward to reach the bottom and get to the end. But that's an incredibly slow strat, so instead, the runner opts to do this. Fling yourself into this hole and go for a crazy Hail Mary edge bug. This is usually a strat that you would go for if you failed the air pogo. So actually going for this intentionally in a map run takes some pretty big balls to do, making for probably the most creative run on this entire list. Now in 2nd place, we have Scoob on Jump Jabroni. Jabroni is what we call a vert map, vert standing for vertical air pogo. The entire map consists of these huge vertical jumps that you have to air pogo through to get to the end. And Jump Jabroni is widely considered the hardest vert map and is one of the hardest demo maps in the entire game. And Scoob manages to get the first ever no fail of this map and achieve the first ever sub 4-minute run. This run is phenomenal, and it's achieved on one of the hardest sticky jump maps to ever grace the game. These diagonally angled verts are insanely precise to do, and to have them down this consistently is an unbelievable feat. And these super sharp turns are exactly the same, requiring crazy amounts of precision to hit perfectly. Getting a fast no fail on a map that's only ever been beaten by 26 players globally is crazy, which makes this world record nearly unbeatable. But before we get to our 1st place world record, let's first do some honourable mentions. First up is Soup on Jump 0. This run is super fast and highly optimized, with barely any mistakes made in the entirety of the run, with it being pretty much as close to flawless as you can realistically get. And just for style's sake, right in the middle of the run, he hits a super clutch edge bug, which is completely disgusting. This run is pretty nuts, and it's definitely worth highlighting in this video somewhere. And our second honourable mention goes to Scoob on Jump 6. This run is one of the best demo runs I have ever seen. Jump 6 is an incredibly difficult map, and Scoob achieved a near flawless run on the map. The only single flaw on the entire map is this one failed sticky jump. That's it. That is the only mistake he makes the entire run. Not only that, but he takes the jumps incredibly quickly. He doesn't do any safe strats, he just does fast strats for every single jump. Jumps that are incredibly precise and hard to do even when done slowly. And just for good measure, the run also has 2 edge bugs in it, both when descending through these tiny little holes. Here's one, and here's the other. Disgusting. This run is unbelievable and absolutely deserves to be the #1 run on this list. But unfortunately, this run was achieved just a couple days late, being achieved on the 2nd of January 2024. Scoob's previous run on this map was a contender for the best run of 2023, but he massively outdid himself with this run just a few days into 2024. And I thought it'd be kind of weird to put his old world record into this video when he only recently got a world record that's way more impressive. So this run is a genuine contender for the best run of 2024, and it's already been achieved within just 2 days of the year. But now, without further ado, the best sticky jump world record of 2023 is Soup on Jump Stake. Soup's run on this map is almost completely flawless. Usually on runs that look completely flawless, there's still some sort of critique to be had. Like maybe you could have gotten more speed off of this one sticky, or maybe you could have strafed tighter to save some time here and there. But on this run, pretty much nothing like that whatsoever. You'd be hard pressed to find anything to critique in the run at all. The only single flaw in the entire map is one sticky bomb. He tries to pre-fire the floor here and he aims it slightly too far to the right and it hits the wall, so he has to replace another sticky. That is the only time loss in the entire map. Outside of this tiny mistake, the run is literally completely flawless. So much so that this run, even with this mistake, is basically unbeatable by now. You would have to match this perfect movement throughout the entire run and then not miss this one sticky just to beat this record by 1/10 of a second. And without that perfection, the run is completely unbeatable forever. Soup's run on Jump Stake will likely stay for a very, very long time. And if it does ever get beaten, the only person who's likely to beat it is Soup himself. So that was my top 10 sticky jump world records of 2023. This list consists almost entirely of my own opinion, and there's so many good runs this year that it's super difficult to order this list from worst to best, but I tried my hardest. But this is the list I decided on, and I'm sure I'll be kicking myself over the order for the rest of time. And if you want to watch each of these runs in full, every single run featured in the video is linked in the description below. And if you wanted to watch the top 10 rocket jump world records of 2023, then that video will also be linked in the description. And I can't wait to see the crazy records that get set in 2024. Thanks for watching.